Ho, hold the f*** on before we go any further. I've got 2 bombshells to drop before we get started. 1, I've had merch since October, and we have a few items to boot. We have tees and hoodies, either zip up or pull over, and they come in a range of colors, just in case pink isn't your thing. Please go and check them out. 2, this is an epic tale, but a very sad one at that. Does it have a happy ending? Sorta, but even if Hallmark movies get the waterworks going, maybe just sit this one out. I'm kidding. It's Christmas, or at least for us it is, because this year we proved that Christmas miracles really do come true. For today, I'm not going to completely dump on someone that more than likely deserves it, but instead, I'm going to tell the story of someone who saved Christmas. And it wasn't Rudolph, or John McClane, or that stupid fucking elf that wanted to be a dentist.
Dentists are weird people. You know that they have the highest suicide rate.
Gather round, children, as I tell actually back the f*** up. Most of you are mouth breathers and one of you actually smells like shit. It's frying my CPU. Okay, so let me tell you the tale of the GameStop employee that wanted to be a pumpkin. Potion. A potion with a pumpkin flavoring possibly. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Don't think about it too much. It has almost entirely nothing to do with her branding. Anyways, to keep us warm for the holidays, because I have no heartwarming stories of humility of my own to share, I thought I'd share the touching story of a lowly retail worker who saved Christmas for a terminally ill child. And to start this story off the right way, I think we should share a little about the story's titular character, Pumpkin Potion. For those of you that don't know, Pumpkin Potion is a mainstream VTuber well known for her unique use of branding, featuring a black and white toon-based character from the 1920s to 1930s, more specifically 1931, and for anyone wondering, no, she does not drop that bit.
I will draw a woman! And then lo and behold, I and my sassy, inky self was born upon this earth, and I have existed ever since.
From what I can tell, there is no clear distinction between the character and the voice behind the character, meaning it's likely possible that a lot of her personality traits and opinions may be exclusive to the toon referred to as Pumpkin Potion. Regardless though, she is a fun, quirky, and upbeat toon that spends a majority of her streams sharing stories either from her toon life,
1950-something, living my life in Toontown,
or the occasional story in the actor's life.
I hate answering the door. I will see them drive into the driveway.
And as we're going to see, these stories can be fun, emotional, and heartwarming, not unlike that of the individual behind the voice, as well as her extremely welcoming community. As I did manage to join her Discord, and her fans, as well as the pumpkin herself, were extremely helpful in recounting the events to make this video possible. But I wouldn't want to spoil the story for you just yet, so thank you guys. Now, I did attempt to get a feature from the heroine herself, but I'm sorry, boys, I failed you. Posting a whopping 200,000 subscribers on YouTube and nearly 100,000 on Twitch, with the earliest debut I could find taking place in 2021, the Ink Gal, reminiscent of Toot Bronstein, who happens to be a parody of Betty Boop. Now, although the appearances are incredibly similar, I'm actually led to believe that she's more akin to a more laid-back Elvira in the style of a 1920s cartoon animation. None of this helps add to the plot, but the story isn't incredibly long and I needed to fill some of the runtime. So get some hot cocoa and a snack, cuddle up next to a loved one, and gather the family as I tell you the story of Pumpkin Potion and her battle between the right thing and the minimum wage position. Our story begins in the early morning hours of Black Friday. Hey, sorry to interrupt wherever I decided to fit this quick plug into, but with 10k subs on the horizon, I wanted to take a quick break to say that if you're enjoying the story, the video, or my robotic ass voice, that you should consider subscribing and come join the Discord, as the server is greatly improving every day thanks to you wonderful viewers that make it such a joy to be a part of, as well as my wonderful new moderator and Discord manager, Novax. Himself and his fantastic team are really helping to make it a much more warm and inviting space. Also, please don't forget to share the video to keep up the holiday spirit. That's not a metaphor. The holiday spirit is here and he's losing his erection quickly. And remember to leave me a comment and let me know how I did this holiday season. Alright, back to the video. As the GameStop team prepares for the inevitable rush of discount deal shoppers, concerned looks are exchanged amongst the team of employees as their leader's voice spouts the typical day-to-day rhetoric, periodically peppering in words of encouragement he heard a couple of times in a movie he can't remember. Something about his appearance and the way he presents himself brings to mind something in between someone who takes pride in getting the last word in a conversation and the type of man that would pay a woman in high heels to repeatedly stomp on his balls. Nothing about him screams leadership, but something about him tells his employees that if they don't treat him as such, they may spend the remainder of their shift receiving a speech about respect and pride from their bricked-up boss as he talks about himself. His ramblings are drowned out by the sound of a busy street corner and impatient customers waiting for their chance to get their hands on the oh-so-coveted Nintendo Wii. The gem of 2006, the pride of Nintendo, the envy of every gamer, and Harmon Smith's bone killer. Virgins of all shapes and sizes gather round the block, dressed in anything from warm, layered attire to Middle-earth's finest garbs, Terra's best defense, or Sailor Moon for some reason. The new morning sunlight still fighting to climb over the horizon as the prostitutes sing and praise in unison of an evening coming to a close, and their pimp beating them relentlessly for singing on the job. The Salvation Army Santa can be seen counting his earnings for the night, careful to leave out just enough for one of those aforementioned prostitutes. A young little ink spot steps out of line, speaking out of turn in hopes of keeping the peace amongst the patrons.
Hi. Yeah, sir? Why don't we do this intelligently?
And speaking of patrons, come check my Patreon out. You can support me for as little as $1. Early access starts at $3 and cosplays at $100. As the doors finally opened and the happy patrons rally in to collect their coveted and precious Nintendo Wiis, the employees smile brightly as they attempt to breathe through their mouths and keep their welcomed customers outside of smelling distance. The GameStop was filled with joy and wonder as the wide-eyed shoppers filled their baskets with collectible figurines and plushies they would later poke holes into. The 30 and 40-year-olds would share tales of old with the little ones as they clutched their packets of collectible Pokemon cards, completely unaware that when they grew up, they would be just like them. The little ink spot stands firmly at her station, watching the happy shoppers as they pass and waving them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as they depart.
Have a great Christmas. Bye. Thank you.
As final patrons exit, a silhouette fills the empty space between the front doors and Pumpkin, as her eyes narrowed, weaving through the haze of first impressions, searching for clarity in the stranger's silhouette. As the figure begins to take form and features begin to take shape, the little ink spot realized quickly that this being be not ethereal, nor withholding any malice, but instead, a woman of fair complexion, disheveled and lost. As she approached our Pumpkin, it was clear that she wasn't the typical patron. Her windswept hair appeared as though the breeze had carried it in all different directions. Her makeup gently unraveled, soft strokes of color tracing delicate paths down her face, painted the reality of what she went through to arrive here in front of Pumpkin.
She looks awful.
With hands clutching bags and a look of desperation, the poor woman sauntered up to Pumpkin's workstation. With lips quivering, an unsteady tone in her voice, she dejectedly uttered,
I am so sorry to bother you. I know that you probably don't have any. I know they're probably sold out, but do you have any Nintendo Wiis?
Pumpkin was taken back. She knew not what this woman had been through, or what troubled her so, but the desperation in her voice as she trembled over every syllable, or the defeated look in her eyes, shook every fiber in her being that erupted in one silent and desperate plea to help her. With unwavering resolve and determination, the little ink spot offered the woman a calming reassurance.
I'm gonna check out back just for you, just to make sure, okay? So why don't you just hang here, take a couple of breaths, I'll be right back. And she goes, thank you so much, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And quickly dashed past her associates, around the corner, around her boss, piercing a look of disdain and animosity through her with a side eye as she passed by him. And with the spirit of Christmas warm in her heart, Pumpkin rushed to the back, where the shelves she must start. Though the boxes were plenty, the contents were bare. After endlessly searching, defeat hung in the air. Through boxes of gadgets and games stacked on high, under tables and shelves, the Nintendo was nigh. With so many boxes of red, green, and blue, Pumpkin sifted through labyrinths, determined and true. When all hope had seemed lost and all out of luck, Pumpkin recalled a place in her mind where a box may be stuck. As she approached the corner tucked out of sight, a single box gleamed in the dim backroom light. Pumpkin cheered and howled with excitement and glee, for she had found a limited edition Nintendo Wii. There, you like that shit? Did you finish yet? Hope so, because that ain't gonna be happening again. Pumpkin returned to the front of the store, and the poor woman's eyes now shone bright and warmth filled her face as the joy of a true Christmas miracle took place that day. Pumpkin approached her with the red box in hand. The woman was so overjoyed with tears in her eyes, she exclaimed,
No. She goes, I'm just so overjoyed that you have one. Thank you so much.
Pumpkin, happy to help, offered to walk the woman around the store, all the while gauging the woman with questions in hopes to pick out the perfect gifts for her children to open on that magical Christmas morn. After a lap was made and Pumpkin's hands were full, she began to ring up the gifts to see the woman off. It was at this moment that the woman's emotions found their voice, spilling out in a sudden declaration.
I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much. My son is in the hospital. He's 7 years old. This is gonna be his final Christmas. He just wanted a Wii and I haven't been able to find one.
Pumpkin openly sobbed at the tale the woman shared, for her only child would enjoy his last Christmas this year. Reality finally began setting in for what this gift meant for that woman and her child, and what Pumpkin did for her that day. She walked the woman to the door and saw her away. I'm not trying, I swear. It wasn't until later that her boss's inflated ego began to erupt. Pumpkin would sit down in the back for her afternoon break, that her boss would confront her through glaring exchanges, and every one of his muscles tense. Our Inkspot realized the trouble he would bring. Steaming from the thought of betrayal and the loss of product, he would scold her for her good deed.
Pumpkin, what was that?
But Pumpkin, ever the charismatic one, would take a deep breath and exclaim,
It's Christmas. Be a little kinder to people, my dude.
After her boss was defeated, he sauntered away, and Pumpkin would return to her post to finish the day. Okay, last one. A tap on the shoulder from a stranger behind, Pumpkin would turn to see the woman back once more, with a bag filled with goodies in exchange for her kindness. The woman thanked Pumpkin profusely as she went on her way, and as our little Inkspot watched her leave, Pumpkin's heart grew 3 sizes that day. Okay, never mind, I did it again. So that was it. Now you don't even need to waste time watching Christmas shoes. I'm sure a lot of you are going to say that this story seems convenient or far-fetched, but I'm actually inclined to believe it. Considering the number of children and adults around the world with either cancer or another terminal illness, it's not hard to believe that this doesn't happen, and it's not as though that those rates drop around the holidays. The Grim Reaper waits for no one. Now, morbid. Yes, but that doesn't make this any less true or this story any less plausible. And regardless, this is the heartwarming story of how someone's selfless acts led to the best possible outcome for a family in need. And sometimes, the ones that don't ask, that don't share, that don't tell, can be the ones that need it the most. Hey, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. By the time this video is live, I'll be on my way to be with my son and my fiance for the holidays. And I'll be there for the next 6 months if I don't die somewhere in the Atlantic. So, wish me luck. I'll drop a community post when I arrive, so if I don't, I either forgot or just assume the worst. I want to give a big shout out to Pumpkin Potion for allowing me to use her story to retell a fantastic tale about the spirit of giving. A shout out to my patrons Jessica, Pulp Milk, George, Jesse, Guardian of Dead Wolves, Loading Please Wait, and Min Min. Thank you to my lovely artist and editor, as well as my Discord manager. Like, share, subscribe, comment, check out the merch, join the party on Discord, support me through my Patreon. Links will be in the description. But until next time, be well.